Hi, in this video I will show you ChatGPT's capabilities in writing and running Python code. You may be surprised to know that ChatGPT can not only write the code for you, using the advanced data analysis tool, it can run the Python code as well. This means that instead of asking the ChatGPT for the code, then copy pasting that code in your own system to run it, then debugging it yourself, and finally creating the result summary yourself, you can simply just give your data file to ChatGPT and it will do the required analysis for you. And at the end, it will give you a nice report and key points straight away. Not just that, it also knows coding and model building best practices. So if your data has missing values or outliers, you can ask ChatGPT to build a machine learning model based on that data. It will automatically check whether there are missing values or not. And if there are, it will do missing value imputation, that is, generate dummy values for wherever the data is missing and then build the model. You do not have to tell such things to ChatGPT. It will automatically do such things for you. Let me demonstrate this by giving it some data and asking it to build machine learning models. Now, to use advanced data analysis in ChatGPT, you will not get this option if you are on the free version. So in ChatGPT 3.5, you will not have the option of advanced data analysis. Only if you have the paid version, that is access to ChatGPT 4, then within ChatGPT 4, you will find all these options, that is default, browse with Bing, advanced data analysis, and so on. Here you have to select advanced data analysis to use this feature. This feature is where ChatGPT can run Python code in the background and give you the results. If you use default, it can only write Python code and give it to you, and you have to run it yourself. Now notice one thing, that when I have selected advanced data analysis here, in this box where we write the prompt, there is this plus symbol. This allows us to input the data, that is, attach files on which we want to do the analysis. If I click on it, I can select the file that I want to work on. For this example, I'm going to use this movie collection data. Here we are trying to predict the box office collection, that is how much that movie will earn based on several factors, such as who were the actors, what were the number of views that trailers got, and so on. So select this data file, click on open, and in the message, we will ask it to build a linear regression model to predict the box office collection. Now, the variable that we want to predict is collection, and all these other variables that you see here are to be used to predict the value in collection. This is what I'm going to write in the prompt. So my prompt is, using the data in the attached file, build a linear regression model to predict collection based on all the other variables in the file. So very simple prompt. Use the data in the attached file, build a linear regression model. Collection is to be predicted using all the other variables. You can see that when I ran this, it has given a lot of details, done the entire processing, and at the very last step, there was a network error because it has done a lot of processing. So I had regenerated the response, and I'll show that also. But first, just look at the amount of details that it is giving. It first loaded the data. You can see the Python code it used to load the data. It was using the pandas library, it used the read CSV function, and it saw the details of the file. Then it explains all the columns in my data. You can see it tells about the collection column, marketing expense, movie length, time taken, and so on. Then it decides to check whether any pre-processing is needed or not. So it looked for missing values. There were 8 missing values in the time taken variable. So it replaced those missing values using the median or mean value. Then it converted the categorical variables. It split the data into train and test set. It scaled the features because linear regression analysis is sensitive to the scale of input values. And lastly, it split the data into training and validation. And on that, using the scikit-learn library, it created a linear regression model, calculated the mean squared error and the R-squared value. Everything was done, but at the very last step, this got stuck and I regenerated the response. And you can see this is the mean squared error and the R-squared value that we are getting. R-squared is 0.698 and it tells us what this R-squared value means. You can see that advanced data analysis tool did not just give us the Python code, it ran the code in the background and gave us the result. It is not limited to only very basic machine learning models such as linear regression. You can ask it to create advanced models such as decision trees, XGBoost, etc. So since the data is already ready, I can ask it to create an XGBoost model on this data. You can see that it has written the code and it starts running it. In this way, you can ask it to create different types of machine learning models. Some models it may not be able to complete because of restrictions on the amount of memory it uses, the amount of time it takes to run the code, etc. But a lot of the basic machine learning models it can create and run easily. You can also ask it to give you the top 3 predictors which are the most important predictors in predicting the box office collection. You can give it your own test data and make predictions on it. For example, we have already trained the linear regression model. Let me give a test set and ask it to predict based on that model. So I'll add another file. I'll put this test file now and I'll ask it to predict the collection values for the data given in the attached file based on the linear regression model you have created. Generate a CSV containing the predicted values for each row of data. So I've asked it to predict the collection values and generate a CSV which contains these predicted values. You can see that it has decided that it is going to follow these steps. It will load the data, it will pre-process the test data also in the same manner it did the training data. Then it will use the model to predict the values and export the predicted values into a CSV file. But while working, it has faced a memory issue, which is why it is not able to do the predictions. So this may happen if you build a model multiple times. If you are building multiple models, it takes up a lot of memory, and with each instance you get limited memory. So this may happen. It is giving you the solutions also. It says either restart this environment to free up the memory, or you can do it on your local environment also. So if you select option 2,